Hey you folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play for Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth. Yeah, so the last one went really well. Now I think there's a few reasons for that. I think the biggest reason is because we were relatively isolated. We didn't have to contend with any AIs butting up against us. The KP were close, but they're really not that close. We had a huge buffer zone between us. Meanwhile, every other AI was on another continent on their own. And constantly going to war. So I think that was really the number one reason that the game played out a little bit easily. That being said, I'm still going to go ahead and set up the game for maximum difficulty. We're going to play on Apollo this time. This is the same thing as playing on Deity mode in Civ 5. I do fully expect to lose, especially since this is only going to be my second real and true game of Beyond Earth. But hey, what could possibly go wrong? So I've been looking at the different factions here and trying to figure out exactly which one we might want to play. I have my opinion about which ones I think might be more or less powerful. Franco-Iberia, who we played last time, I think will effectively get about 2 free technologies over the course of the game. Compare that to the Slavic Federation, which will get 1 free technology, although will likely get it much faster. And has the additional bonus of having orbital units stay in orbit 20% longer, which I know may or may not be a big deal. Trade routes are really powerful. So Polystrasia might be good, but on the other hand, I mean, that's a lot of trade routes. The KPs are interesting in that they do acquire new tiles faster, so your outposts will grow into proper cities a lot faster, which is nice, and you'll pick up a bunch of new tiles. Now, what's a good comparison here? So the African Union, right? 10% more food when you're healthy. May not sound as good as free technologies, but the thing to remember is more people equals more research, equals more production, equals more all the things. So it's kind of... They might be balanced. I wonder if the ARC are or not. I'm wondering if I should just play the ARC. Do more spying. Let's do it. Let's be Americans. We're going to be Americans. We're going to super spy everything. An argument can be made that if we're going to do a lot of spying, we may not need quite as much actual science, for example, because we might just be able to steal a lot more science, not to mention full-out technologies. The bonus to food is kind of cool, but we are going to be very happiness capped throughout a lot of the things. So I think that if you do end up going with the refugees bonus, same if you go with the African Union, you may end up really just needing to grow tall instead of wide, just to minimize the just to minimize the health loss. You know what? If we're going to play the Americans, the aristocrats might make the most sense. We'll get a bit of money, we'll get more health, which will make us able to grow a little bit better. And we can just buy our way to victory. I like that plan. And then finally, there's the final stage. No, not even the final stage. Almost the final stage here. I'm still convinced that I don't think Continental Surveyor or the Lifeform Sensor are going to be quite as good, but the middle 3 are pretty strong. The Fusion Reactor basically means I get to buy a worker unit slightly faster. Tectonic Scanner is I get to rapidly expand and place my cities a little bit better. Because you do get the ability to see petroleum, geothermals, and titanium relatively quick, because they're all tier 1 technologies. So not having Tectonic Scanner doesn't slow you down that much. But if you are planning on expanding very quickly, like for example, if you end up taking the laboratory here to start with the pioneering technology to do some rapid expansion, then I think the Tectonic Scanner is a great combo. On the other hand, retrograde thrusters are always also pretty good. Since we went retrograde last time, I'm actually going to go with the fusion reactor here. We're going to have a whole money theme going on. We'll be able to buy a worker really quick between the +3 energy and the 100 extra energy, which all leads to the idea that we're not going to go ahead and start with the worker unit, because we'll probably buy one. Although, on the other hand, we could also buy a military unit or something like that. I think what we'll do, it's tempting to go with the hydroponics for the extra population. We don't really need the health from the clinic, but the extra science helps. I'm going to go with the extra population. Can't remember what we did last time, but I think with the rest of our picks, it works really well. I'm going to go with Terran world one more time. I think next time we'll play with an Atlantean world, but I want a little bit more gameplay on a continental kind of setup, because to me, that's always the default way to play Civ. You know, this is the sort of way Civ is more or less meant to be played. Although I think that's more of a classic Civ more than a Beyond Earth kind of thing. But certainly playing on a Pangea type map changes the gameplay considerably, as does the... just because you're guaranteed more and more neighbor and more conflict. But of course the islands change things even more so, and that maybe you have a little bit of extra space. And we'll see how that goes. The naval units do seem a little bit squishy at the start of the game, so I think that if you do go naval, or islands, and you build a lot of naval units, you're going to have to expect a lot of dead units quite quickly. All right, here is our start. What are those? Oh, right, these white bits are the canyons. It's always weird when your minimap is so zoomed in, you see this weird stuff on there. So we've got some canyons for limited mobility here. I did have one game that I started where my city was like, well, it was more of a horizontal thing. So my city was here, and then I had like canyons, mountains. I was totally blocked off from being able to go north-south. This is only row 3, which is not going to be too bad. Also, because the land sort of seems to end here, I don't think these are going to impede our movement too much. It does mean we're going to have 3 dead tiles in our capital city, which kind of sucks. We don't want to settle on a resource because that'll eat it. I don't see any reason to move up one to the north. In fact, that'll cause us to lose the fruit. Yeah, maybe we'll gain something else, but we actually don't know that for sure. Also, the advantage of settling on this marsh is that we clear out sort of a useless tile early on, and we'll have access to grassland, which is slightly better. So yeah, I see no reason not to start in place. Hopefully we'll get some petroleum here. Playing as America, we do have a bit of an addiction to oil. Also, if we get some more petroleum, we can play a little bit more with satellites than we did last time. That's one of the reasons I almost played as the Slavic Federation, because I want to encourage myself to play with the satellites, the orbital layers. But playing with the espionage stuff will also be quite a bit of fun. With my explorer, I guess I'm going to go straight north, just because I think it is going to be kind of dead-endy over here. So let's go and do that. All right, fungus and silica. 1, 2, 3. Both which are out of range. Still, it wouldn't have made any sense to settle east, especially not knowing what was there, and also leaving the coast would be quite bad. I mean, coastal tiles aren't particularly strong, but being able to do coastal trade routes is amazing. Also, you do get the automatic city connection over the coast. You don't need to build any harbors or anything like that. I do think you need the planetary survey tech, but other than that, you're going to be fine. As per usual, I think I'm going to start with the Old Earth Relic. I want to be able to push out my borders a little bit more, and also getting some virtues started would be quite nice. I don't know what virtues we're actually going to start with. That's an interesting question, actually. I'm not positive. Nor what technology to start off with. I suspect that going chemistry first will often be quite popular. Revealing petroleum is always going to be nice. But recyclers are pure production, and laboratories are pure science. They're always going to be very, very strong. There might be an argument made for, if you're going for really rapid expansion, assuming you started with pioneering, you might go to genetics just to be able to get the farmer labs going quickly for the health bonus. I don't see any reason for us to particularly rush pioneering, nor planetary survey at this point. If anything, I would like to reveal the petroleum. Where do we get the titanium from? Oh, from engineering. So we might do engineering second. And then we do need geothermals at some point, which I delayed very much last time. Also, ecology will unlock the miasmic repulsor, which is going to be quite nice. But what we might do something is chemistry into engineering to reveal some tiles, and then at that point pick up pioneering, because we'll probably have grown enough that we'll want to start building our colonist. Also, trade routes are going to be nice. We might have met some people. So, I want to take a minute to talk about victory conditions. The last time we played, we did win a Promised Land victory, which is the purity type of victory. If we happen to get a lot of floatstone, we may end up going purity again, in which case I will try to go for a contact victory, because I'm curious to see exactly what that is. I haven't done it yet. But ideally, we'll be able to go either harmony, transcendence, or supremacy, emancipation. And honestly, supremacy sounds really fun. So I like the idea of being a cyborg. It's my kind of thing. So let's scoot our explorer up over here. So we've got even more fungus and some more chitin. Again, you can say chitin if you want, but if you want to be more correct, you can say chitin. Some floatstone. So we do have some xenomass right in our home base. A little bit of floatstone here. Certainly nothing really pushing us one way or another. An alien wolf beetle here, assuming that there's no nest over here, and it doesn't look like there is, just through the fog. The wolf beetle should not attack us by default. We don't have the we don't have purity 1, which makes our, oh god, that is really annoying when they do that, and they do like to do that. I'm just gonna stay in place a second here. Purity 1 means that they'll never attack our explorer, but as long as we don't go near their nest, explorers don't usually get harassed. Wow, 70 more energy. That's actually pretty nice. And we got our first quest, which is the gift from home, which is to find 2 resource pods, of which we've already found 1. Also, there's an alien skeleton over there. Hopefully we can reach it. We can't go across the water yet. There's no miasma there, so we should be okay. Nice vision. There we go. We can complete that quest right away. I believe completing gifts from home will give us a science boost, which is always very sexy. With 200 money, is there anything we could buy right away? We could just pop out a second explorer, which is actually kind of tempting. I think I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to want a second explorer at some point. I may as well spend the money to accelerate things. You know, having money just sit there idle, that's not a very good investment. Let's invest in ourselves and buy our second explorer. Let's take one step first. Oh, that doesn't really reveal anything. 60 energy for searching the resource pod, and... Did we not finish gift from home? Oh, find 3. Am I wrong? Does it not say 2 and then 1 found, and then now it says 3? Maybe I'm wrong. We've got Fraxite. So only 4 in total. A couple of sources are nice because when you mine them, you do get some science. So this looks like it's on an island, which should hopefully mean we'll be able to come back to this relatively soon once we've got our planetary expedition. I don't know if I keep reading that quest wrong or if there's like a display glitch or something. Again, I'm still playing a very pre-releasey kind of press build version. There we go. 10 science. Only 10 beakers, really? Or flasks? Oh, that was from the pod and then from completing... No, the quest gave me 10, the pod gave me 19. Still not too bad. A little bit closer to completing our chemistry. I suppose I didn't assign my workers, but I was pretty sure they were going to work sane tiles over here, so we're fine. Not buying the worker is kind of sucky, but the order I usually do things is I do tend to get a second explorer first before the worker, so I think we'll end up building a worker as soon as this relic is done. I'm not too worried. The exploration is nice. It does suck that we're, in a sense, that we're on the tip of a continent here because our workers are sort of, or explorers are both sort of going in the same direction. On the other hand, it means our capital should be nice and safe, and it means fewer neighbors, which on deity level or Apollo level is going to be quite important because there's going to be fewer people to placate, or if we happen to have an aggressive neighbor, we only have to defend one front. Ideally, we're going to be able to get the AI to turn against each other. Is this turn 9? We haven't met a single opposing AI yet? This is really, really bizarre. I don't think I've ever gone this long without anyone landing. In fact, I feel like I've gone some games where everyone has landed by turn 9. So they're going to have a much later start, which gives me more ability to get resource pods, not to mention do some rapid expansion. On the other hand, the later they start, the more benefits they're supposed to get right away. So we've got 3 sources of Fraxis. Oh, and another one there, Fraxite. Now, they're all very tiny stacks. This is not enough to, like, make a definitive thing. If we found, like, a stack of 9 something, that would be pretty strong. And yeah, the Xenomass and the 1 floatstone. I mean, we're certainly leaning towards Fraxite for purity right now, but we'll see. Got a quest decision? Well, I guess we're going to have to start thinking about that. So we've got the indigenous species. We can eradicate it, which was the purity route. I'm going to avoid taking that. I'm going to go domesticate wildlife. We'll get a follow-up question that will lean us either towards harmony or supremacy. Most likely we'll take supremacy in this quest. That doesn't lock us into everything, you know, for the rest of the game, of course. Dabbling, you know, getting the first level of purity is always pretty sexy because aliens won't attack explorers. There we go. Our very first neighbor lands on turn 10. Hello, Pack. Welcome to the party. Sponsored by the American Reclamation Corporation. Go back to the coast over there. A little bit more floatstone. Still very tiny stacks of floatstone. There's a 6, which is pretty good. On the other hand, a little bit further away as well. It would have been really nice to uncover a 6 or 9 or 10 stack of Fraxite, but we'll take what we can get. Let's move to here. I'm happy I didn't just move to the coast, because then I wouldn't have been able to get that resource pod immediately. And the pack is on another continent altogether. We might get another game like the last one. Here's an excellent question. What do we start with? Well, we are going to get a little bit bonus happiness because of aristocrats, which makes it a little easier to stay happier, which means that foresight might be an excellent thing to pick up. I'm probably going to usually avoid might unless... hello. I didn't realize 40% more intrigue from covert operations. That sounds like the sort of thing we may like to do. Also like the Liberation Army. That's very cool. But the thing is, the first 3 picks don't truly help our early game, unfortunately. And I guess we could just pick special service later. There's no reason to rush to this, obviously. So the question is, do we want the 10% growth retention, which leads into a free worker and a free colonist? Actually, as isolated as we are, we may actually want to get to 3 cities relatively quickly. That will tank our happiness, of course. On the other hand, we've got the production bonus for buildings, the wonder production later on, we can get the orbitals, and just even more money. But, you know, we already have a fair bit of money. Standardized architecture is very nice. I'm going to grab foresight, and then I think we might go down prosperity. Of course, if we go to 3 cities, it will tank our happiness. But we're going to take that, and actually the field research is also going to be exceptionally good for us. Well, I say that. There's one alien skeleton. I guess we've only discovered one place to dig up so far. And we can't reach it yet. You are going to go and pop that bad boy. 25 culture. Excellent. I will go ahead and take the... Oh, wait. Can't take the free worker. I don't need to take field research yet because we're not going to be able to pop that quite yet. So I'm going to go ahead and take Frugality with the idea that maybe we'll be able to snag a free worker, or maybe depending on how the timing works out, we'll take the field research for the expedition thing. Just wanted to see if there was anything else over there. Chemistry is done. Does we have oil? There's oil over here. A 5-stack, which is actually pretty good. And a little bit more in the north. A 6-stack. Oh, okay. All right, we're definitely going to have some oil. There shouldn't be any competition for the one in the south. The one in the north, there could be. It depends on where people land exactly. Is this a mountain ridge? Canyons and mountains. So actually, if I settle over on the east side, that's going to be very, very well protected from a lot of stuff. And that's where all the fraxite is. So I think that'll be the idea. Dabble in a little bit of floatstone, just in case we want a unique building. Yeah, this oil over here is much less sexy. Yeah, there's some fraxite here, and I suppose we could put a city right around here. What I don't like is that it's not going to start with anything in the inner ring. It's really going to have to grow out a lot to be able to get some resources. I want to see out into the ocean a little bit more over there, and move to the south, find some more petroleum, find a bug. Also, the fact that there's forest and miasma here, we might be going into sort of a more wilderness area, which is going to be a little bit more nest-filled. And a crash satellite. Okay, there's our first expedition. How far are we for our next thing? 8 turns. Okay, so we'll be able to pick the bonus science from expedition thing before we go and finish digging it up. Another neighbor. This is such a slow start for these guys. And luckily, so this is the Slavic Federation, and they are not very close to me either. I'm very excited about that. So, there's going to be miasma. Here's what we're going to do. I got to make sure I don't finish too soon, but it might be like a 10-turn dig. I don't know how we can tell how big the... Yeah, it is 10 turns. So I'm going to have to babysit him, move him out of the miasma before he dies, heal him up on the floatstone, come back and finish it, and that'll give us more than enough time for us to get our next virtue and get that going. One of the things we could experiment is rather than going deep in a virtue, we could really go broad. I could pop that nest for 25 energy. But it would start to aggro the aliens, and I don't see any reason for us to start poking that. Money is nice. Let's just move away for now. Okay, we're now technically in range of 2 nests, so they might aggro, which would be unfortunate. Yeah, see, they're starting to spawn there. I just don't want them to go after my other explorer. I'm actually going to take this guy and start the long trip to go over here. I don't know if he'll be done in time. I could just do this. We'll stay in range of the nest, but it'll put us in a position that we can potentially escape it next turn and not die. All right, we'll try that. Worker is done. Excellent. What do we want to do first? Building on the chitin gives us what? +1. Oh, I can't see. No, there we go. Paddock is an extra hammer. Fruit is an extra food, so that'll be equivalent. 3 and 1, 3 and 1. And the fiber is an extra production. So 2 and 2. So, I mean, in terms of raw points, it's all the same, but I think I would rather be working a 3 food tile, so let's go and improve the chitin with a paddock. And what do we want to build? So the question is either laboratory into recycler or recycler into laboratory. Probably recycler first. Yeah, it delays our science a tiny bit, but then everything else builds a little bit faster. So I think that's going to be fine. I don't think we need to build an explorer, soldier, another worker, anything like that. I'll start with the recycler. I might decide to change my mind in the future and do it the other way around, but for now, that's fine. Okay, we're going to move away from the nest. There might even be another one here. No. It might still be a little bit aggroed. We might take a few hits. Nope. Nope, they're fine. There's no nest here. Just some miasma. 3 fraxite. Yeah, we have to remember to babysit this explorer here. Move inland a little bit. We've got no more nests, but it's fine. But I don't really want to end my turn in miasma, and I can't move forward anymore, so I guess we'll just pull back. That's going to be okay. Quest decision. We would like the Jinsoku Labs for the science. Where did you get put? That is actually perfectly fine. Nice early game trading partner. Doesn't get in the way of where I was thinking about putting my first few cities. Probably 2 on the east coast here. It's probably the safest. I'm really hoping no one lands right up here. If they land over here, then fine, they can have that land. But, yeah. Let's check our Explorer. He could survive an extra turn, but just to make sure I don't forget about him, I'm going to go and pop him off over here, start the healing process, and move off. So there should be about 4 turns left to get this crash satellite going, which I think is, if he gives you a satellite, is always like the energy one, and that's not going to be bad. I want field research, because that 30 science is going to be quite nice. I mean, that's like 4 turns worth of science, slightly more than 4 turns worth of science just from finishing an expedition, which is what we're going to do anyway. So that's a little bit close. That is, oh, it's the KP again. God, why am I always next to the KP? Listen, I love your makeup, your hair, the head thing that you've got going on. You look extremely cool, but you're kind of getting in my way. We are playing on deities, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to actually displace them. We're not just going to be able to run over them like we did last time. So we're going to finish engineering in 3 turns. I'm definitely going to want to pick up pioneering. Oh, it was already queued up. And then we'll pick up planetary survey as well, so we can dig up them bones, like that. Actually, one of the interesting things we may want to do is actually settle on that island. There we go. Someone else. Nice and distant. Le Caire. So those are the Franco-Iberians. So that's what I looked like last game. Going around here for now. Worker, your job is to set up a plantation. Oh, it'll actually get rid of the production, right? Because it gets rid of the forest. So it'll be a 4 food tile, which is actually fine. One of the arguments to be made could be to wait to chop down this forest until we're working on a colonist. But honestly, speeding up anything is going to be fine and lovely. At this timing, it'll basically effectively speed up the lab. And I don't think anyone can complain about that. So we are on a very long continent.
Instruct the children not to dream of toys or sweet.
So we discovered some titanium right in our capital. Excellent. And it's only a 2 stack. So that's not going to be as many units. But I still love the fact that if we mine it, we get a crap ton of production. When improved by mine, it says +3, but I think the mine, it doesn't count what the mine itself gives. So I think we effectively get +5 hammers. And that's pretty sweet. Ah, we got a progenitor ruin and a goody hut. And the ruin is on miasma, which kind of sucks. Let's pop the goody hut. Get 16 research. Don't mind if I do. And then we'll move on to there. Actually, I should have waited a turn, because now we're going to take 1 turn of damage without any actual progression. Oh well. I still think we're going to want to pop out the laboratory first. And actually, 8 turns for the lab, 8 turns for a growth. It's going to be a little bit shorter than that because we're going to chop the forest. On the other hand, we'll also get a plantation, which means more food. I think the timing will work out quite well. And I think we're probably going to... And we'll have pioneering in 8 turns. Actually, we'll probably finish all this stuff before pioneering finishes. So we might have to put 1 turn in something else. But that's okay. I feel it might be a little dangerous to send out my my colonist unescorted. But the odds of there being a villain over there is quite low. Alright, 5 turns for the expedition. We'll actually be able to complete that before we die from the miasma, so we should be okay. Speaking of things, you are basically healed. In fact, you're healed enough that we can go ahead and work on that right now. I'm just worried about some alien or another faction coming and stealing that from me. Good, good, good. Someone else far away. These are actually really good spawns for us. I'm quite happy about this start. Hello, Paul Australia, or the Commonwealth of the Pacific. Names don't match, because, you know, why would they? Alright, I think this is a good place for us to put in a cut. I'm a little upset at how close Mandira is. Yeah, more than a little bit annoyed. What I think that might do is change our city placement a little. Oh, gosh. So, there's no way for us to actually get this petroleum. I mean, we could have settled here, but that's going to be way, way, way too close. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to put a city right here. It's not necessarily the most optimal. Problem is, I would like it on the coast, and I would like to reach this frac site. And the algae would be a nice bonus. So, I mean, unless I settled on the petroleum, which would destroy the petroleum, so I don't want to do that. On the other hand, that would mean the city would also reach this frac site, if I did that. It's only a 2 stack of petroleum, but it means more workable stuff. I think it's going to be fine for us to settle right over here. And that'll bring a couple of things online, puts a nice border. The hills will slow down anyone who decides to come and attack me from over here. Also some choke points. Mostly I can probably put a bunch of rangers on here or something like that, defend myself relatively well. I think that'll be the plan. I think that'll be step 1. And then maybe we'll backfill. If I do settle here, I could pretty comfortably drop... Comfortably drop a city over here. Although that leaves the silica unworked. Because we actually don't reach it from central, which is a little annoying. On the other hand, I'm not going to settle on the floatstone. And here would be too much overlap. The advantage here is we do get this frac site. Yeah, I think that might be the plan. But that'll have to wait until next time. See you, folks. Bye-bye.